Hey, this is Chris Jericho, and you're listening to Awesome Pod, the only wrestling pod that I listen to.
It's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's Awesome Pod. It's Darcy the Mail Girl, Shorty Taylor and Brendan Petrizzo. Explain Dynamite and Rampage, we are here.
And Mistress Harley.
Hey everybody, it's the Awesome Pod. It's Johnny Taylor. I have not been around for a minute. Life and the things happened, but we're here. It's episode 69, which is nice. I mean, you can't really. It's scissory. It's dual oral. It's all the things. So anywho, I'm here. I'm here with Mistress Harley. Mistress Harley, who are you?
I'm always excellent, and there was so much wrestling this week between AEW, the Rumble, the scandals. Like, we have so much to talk about.
For real. Brendan, you're here also. Brendan, how are you? I haven't seen your beautiful face in so long.
I know. I'm good. I just wrapped probably one of the craziest movies I've produced in the past 3 years. It was insane while moving at the same time. I don't recommend doing both at the same time. But yeah, so I'm back. I'm very tired, but I'm back.
Should be noted that Diana Prince, Darcy the Mail Girl, is currently having a very good time on the JeriCruise. I've been watching the stories, and it looks like they're having a blast out there. So
she'll report when she's back.
Yep, I can't wait to get a full Jericho Cruise rundown. But this week we got Dynamite and Collision. It's a super show, really. We're doing a super show. And Mistress Harley, take us away.
I will, because we're starting to fucking love the Super Show. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we are. So on January 24th, which was my birthday, I am 29. Samoa Joe opened the show, and he's like, hey, you remember me, I'm the one that kills everybody. And then Hook came in because there's some unfinished business, and first they go to shake hands, but then Hook pulls Joe close, and I swear to God, I was like, they're gonna kiss. They did not kiss. Instead,
no.
Joe is like, I don't know when we'll fight again, but it's not now. And he calls security, which I thought was weak as fuck. Like,
yeah, it was.
Champions should not call security.
But it was entertaining. It was entertaining to watch Hook take them on. I did enjoy that.
I liked Hook. Now they're letting Hook talk a little bit more, and so when he brought him in,
we'll talk about that.
When he brought him in tight, for the close embrace, Hook almost sounded sultry when he was like, I don't know when, but I'll see you again. I was like, what are they going to do when he sees him again? Are they going to fight or are they going to fuck?
I mean, that's where it's always going. Anger can turn into lust, and lust can turn into heat. Like, why don't these guys ever fuck? Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that is an adult video I would purchase. The Hook Samoa Joe. I'm here for it. It would just look funny.
Fans, we learn more about Johnny all the time.
I mean, I'm an open book to a fault. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good segment, and I really liked what happened next, which I'm sure you're going to talk about. Right?
Oh yes, the Hangman Adam Page versus Penta El Zero match, where there was another handshake and close embrace. It was the handshake show.
It was some hot stuff going
on.
Yeah. I like Hangman's mustache he's got going on right now. That's a real man.
A vibe. But there was a kick that Penta did that sounded a little too real. And like, this is one of those that it might, like, I swear it was probably fake. Like, it's one of those where it's like, you couldn't have heard if it was real. Like, but at the same time, it looked like, I don't know. I wanted to ask you guys about it. I'm like, I don't know, because it was a kick to the face that you heard it, and it looked not planned. But
Yeah.
what do y'all think?
We call that stiff.
Yes.
Just a stiff kick. Yeah, both these guys work stiff, so it was.
I like it because I know they're really hurting each other. It's not just the meat smack noise of a strong kick to the face. It's that
Right.
little noise the man makes right after where you can hear him go, ugh. Like, yes, that's how I know he's really hurting.
Completely. Also, Samoa Joe on commentary, I thought was
Yeah.
good. The interaction with he and Taz, since he just had that showdown with Hook, it created like this cool subplot by having him out there.
Yes.
So it was cool.
Do you think Samoa Joe and Taz are going to end up fighting? Because, like Daddy's mad.
Dad's mad. Taz might act like he's gonna get up in his face, but man, Taz ain't gonna do nothing. He's fucking 18 baked ZDs in, dude. Like he ain't trying to fuck with Joe.
I mean, the problem is Joe's got 250 pounds on everybody at AEW.
He does.
Fucking monster.
There is a move, and I want to know if this is the proper name, because I wrote this down and I haven't seen it yet. And I think they called it the Deadeye move, and it's like they picked him up from like behind or something, and like slammed him down, and they were like, "Oh, it's a Deadeye," but I was like, I don't know if that's the name for it, but it was really cool. It was very entertaining, but I don't
Brendan,
know.
In wrestling, what the wrestlers do is they brand standard wrestling moves as their own. So like Ric Flair does the figure 4, but the one where they turn around.
The one where they turn around, I love that thing. The old reach around.
Yeah, where the other man is doing a push-up and Brett Michaels, no.
What Michaels? Poison? You got involved?
Yeah, there's a career switch here going on.
You don't need nothing but a good time.
No, my brain just like got so fried. No, where Bret Hart does it, it's his finisher. What's the one Bret Hart does?
Yeah, sharpshooter.
Right, the sharpshooter, but then other people do it and call it different names.
Yeah, Sting calls it the Scorpion Deathlock. Same move.
Yeah.
Same exact move.
Interesting.
So hilariously, I'm like super high, and now you guys know how high I am. But yeah, that's the story of the wrestlers rebranding moves. So the Deadeye is what? It's like a lariat with a suplex.
I'm gonna have to look
Okay.
at this.
Oh my god, this is embarrassing. I'm not editing this out. I'm leaving
No,
this in.
This is the peak.
You know, it'd be really fun. What would be really fun for us to do is like see like what one move and how many different names they have for it. With, like,
someone
different
make
people.
us a chart or a GIF or
I bet
get to
there's-
it, raggedy bitches.
There's got to be a wrestling glossary that has like all the alternative names for stuff. I mean, Undertaker, he did that last ride, which Wardlow ends up doing in this next match, but where he like picks him for a powerbomb and then lifts him way up over his head. Honestly, that's just like a high powerbomb, but he branded it the last ride.
I have a question for you, the audience. Does the power bomb require a kick to the nuts before you do the pop-up part? Because I was like to one of my friends, I was like, I'm gonna power bomb you, and they're like, okay, I'm ready. And then I kicked him in the nuts, and he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, that's how it starts.
It's like the Stone Cold Stunner. You get kicked in the gut, and then that's when you're ready for a stunner. It's
Exactly. Thank you.
Two-parter.
So Hangman Adam Page did win that match with Punta Zero, and as you pointed out, Brendan, he did try to do the Deadeye, but it got blocked, but it didn't matter because he won anyway.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was a good
this
spot.
was a banger match. It was a really good match.
So then we get a backstage with Renee Paquette and Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, who is attracted to Orange Cassidy. Like everywhere Cassidy is, Roderick Strong is like, hey, I have stuff to say to you.
It's hard for that belt.
I know. He is
thirsty.
Yeah. He is neck hard on for the belt.
He's got a neck on.
A neck on for the belt. Yes. Finally. So
I
then
was
he's like, "Oh, but Trent's gonna wrestle Wardlow, and I have to be there to watch him get his ass kicked." So now the Wardlow match that you brought up, Johnny, big man versus less big man. What did you think?
I thought I've said this a bunch of times. Wardlow does absolutely nothing for me. So I thought this was just run of the mill. I mean, Trent at least got some offense
Yeah.
in, which is different for a Wardlow match lately. But Wardlow, his character is so fucking stale to me, and I don't know what they can do to unstale it. Like the
I know
balloons.
what they can do. It's the same thing they did with The Rock. It's the same thing you have to do with every big guy. You got to show me another side of him besides Meathead. Show me that he likes kittens and spends all of his times not wrestling, petting cats or some shit. Like, give me some dimension to this dude, because I'm a Meathead who hates MJF is not really a gimmick.
Right, I agree.
Like, just
Completely.
saying.
It was a very like this match. In my notes here, I put just down fun but forgettable. It was like it was fine. It was fine. It's like yeah. I mean, now I did though. It kind of like the fighting reminded me. I put here like Sam Raimi Spider-Man, lots of jumping. It gave, you know what I mean? It was like that was it. It was just like my notes are Sam Raimi Spider-Man, lots of jumping, and just fun but forgettable. It's runtime. That's how it
That's
felt.
that's a good description, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, just they were fine, but it wasn't anything. It did not win anything this week.
No.
It's two guys that don't really have much of a gimmick. I think Trent's really good in the ring. Like he's strong, he's really athletic. He could do some high flying shit, but it's just what are the stakes? You know, it's I don't know.
You're right. After the big pay-per-view, it does feel like there's a little bit of stakelessness. Like, what are we fighting about? It either has to be the belt or it has to be the plot. So you
Right.
have to write when there's no belt, but if there's a belt, you don't have to write. So,
Right.
trade-off.
Yeah.
But speaking of writing, okay, I forgot to mention this earlier promo with the Young Bucks because I hate the Bucks and I want to forget them. But then they're like, we want to be called by our passport names. I assume that means their government names. I've never heard passport name. But then Top Flight rolls up and gives them crap for dressing poorly. And I was like, finally, someone listens to the show.
Finally, I didn't. I actually thought the Top Flight was really good in this segment because they acted really natural about it. But I thought the Young Bucks acting was really bad.
I don't think Top Flight was acting. I think those were real feelings. They were like, you
They
guys
got-
suck.
they really got him.
You're old. You dress poorly.
I do they, and this goes all the way back to Hook, and I love Hook, but I do think they need to get an acting coach for some of these people. Like no shade, just like line delivery, public speaking. Like again, no shade, but
that was my favorite note Joe Bob ever had when he was on the show. He was like, somebody needs to get this person a goddamn acting coach. I'm like, you fucking preach, Joe Bob, preach.
That was a pretty good Joe Bob.
Yeah. For his voice in there.
All right. So after this like less than interesting Wardlow match, I don't know. There's some talk. I'm not even gonna bother to talk about the talk promoting the future matches. Like that's kind of not even that important. But we get a Tony Storm promo. I'm just gonna skip ahead to
no. Wait, what was the coolest part though? What was the coolest part about the Tony Storm thing?
Okay,
I like the matching tattoos.
Yeah, is it matching tattoos? Okay, what were those tattoos,
No,
you guys?
it's that half of the screen was black and white and half was in color. Fun little gimmick that they had. That like it's little details like that were just awesome. And I hope they can do it during a match. They won't be able to, but it'd be fun.
I do love the black and white, and I love how true they are to it. But what the fuck were those tattoos?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't make them out really, but I love Toni Storm's reveal. Like she was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I have to show this," and like showed it, and it was like, "Oh my god, what?" Toni Storm, in my opinion, and I've said this a bunch of times, best character in AEW right now. But I got to give flowers to Deonna Purrazzo because I thought she was great in the segment. I actually liked the segment.
She's starting to grow on me. I didn't know her really from before, and now I'm like, well, who's this like comeback kid? And now I'm starting to like her. But I was on the Gringo Fantastico headlines, headlocks, and hijinks podcast.
Yeah,
None of us could figure out what those tattoos are. We
no,
could
no,
not
no,
figure it out.
Maybe they're from House of Black, and she's put a curse on them. That'd be
Wow.
fun.
Ooh.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was like this was the sassiest moment of the Tony Storm interview where they're talking about some of the body shame Deanna's been getting on social media and fuck you people with your body shame. But Tony comes to her defense in the sassiest bitch way where she's like, you shouldn't be subject to body shame. That's wrong. You have so many other things to be ashamed about.
Yeah, she's the best. Tony Storm is the fucking best. Protect her at all costs. She's a treasure.
She, it'd be great if she just commentated just an entire show. Just one. Just
Here for
did
it.
the commentary for the whole thing.
Yeah, Tony, if you break your legs, you have the makings of a professional dominatrix, let me tell you.
Yeah,
If you can just be that mean to people all the time, like you have a grand career ahead of you, darling.
completely.
So after we finish up, there's like, there's this perfect reality TV moment where Deanna says, I'm not here to make friends. That's how you know it's reality TV. Um, but then Perazo grabs the title and holds it high. And I don't know, did she steal it? Does she still have it? That's a classic wrestling beef. Give me back my shit,
Yeah, Dave, Jay White did it for 6 months last year.
It's a legitimate beef. Give me back my shit. That's writing.
Quit stealing my shit.
So after that, we get another promo from John Moxley, and he gives this promo that's like, it's hard to be the best because there's always the next bigger, better guy coming to get you. And I couldn't tell if he was saying he's the best, therefore other bigger, better men are coming to get him, or if he's coming to get them because he's bigger and better. It was like a palindrome of a metaphor.
Yeah, he was speaking in riddles.
Oh, he started doing Riddler gimmick. Yes.
He's fucking. He's the Riddler now.
We had a little Spider-Man reference before in that match, and now we're jumping over to Batman.
I want Adam West Riddler, please. Thank you.
I want him to come out in a Riddler outfit. That'd be fun.
We got a Taya Valkyrie promo where she also inserted herself into the women's fight because if you're a woman on this show, why don't you want to be part of the fight for the belt? All makes sense. But can we talk about watching my childhood get destroyed with the match between Jeff Hardy and Swerve Strickland? It was like the hot guy you thought was hot when you were like a kid is now being defeated by the new hot guy you think is hot. Like I had a lot of feelings.
Yeah, this must have been must have been conflicting for you, Mistress Harley.
But it was such a good match.
It
was so good to watch.
I thought it was.
It was so fun.
It was the best Jeff Hardy match he's had as a singles wrestler in AEW, in my opinion. And I think Swerve had a lot to do with it.
I mean, Jeff Hardy is always good. He's always willing to sacrifice his body on the altar of our entertainment. And Swerve Strickland is like climbing the mountain of greatness. And he started by just being great, and then by shedding blood, and now by defeating old champions. It's just like how the gods had to defeat the Titans in the Greek mythology. Zeus had to kill his father to become the number one god. And so this is one of those things that plays out in wrestling always. The last great guy has to be defeated by the new great guy. So I didn't actually feel conflicted. I thought it was crazy hot, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good shit. I hope Swerve doesn't have to kill his dad, though.
No, he has to kill all those Jedi children at the nursery.
He's going to kill the babies. The Jedi babies.
But so then like we're supposed to get a Hangman interview backstage, but Swerve rolls up and is like, I am the best. And they'll probably fight each other next week, right?
Great.
I'm
Great
here for any and all Hangman Swerve battles.
The
They
Swerve could
did.
do whatever.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, Brendan. Swerve can do whatever. Yeah. But speaking of people who can do whatever, Red Velvet versus Thunder Rosa was our women's match, and Thunder Rosa
You
won.
mean the high school fight, the high school hallway fight?
Yes, that is what I mean.
Okay.
Thunder Rosa has been killing it, and it feels like since she's come back, it's like here are all the squash matches. But Red Velvet is good, but it felt a bit short. How did you guys
Yeah,
feel?
I didn't love it. I thought it was okay, and I like that they're making Thunder Rosa look like a kind of a monster. But yeah, Red Velvet doesn't do much for me. But I am happy to see Thunder Rosa get like a win on TV, and this is like 3 in a row. She's looked really good in all of them. She's in really good shape, and I'm stoked for Thunder Rosa because I know she got a lot of hate, and I think she's pretty over too. Like the crowd popped big for her. Although
Yeah,
this
I mean
crowd,
she was awesome in Lucha Underground. She's legitimate as a wrestler and as a star. So, and now awkward silence. Okay. Well,
It was,
because it's Sting.
it's,
Sting.
yes, I'm
Uh,
into it.
Darby did most of the talking. I mean, yeah, Darby was there too, but it was Sting. Um, and that they're gonna fight again, and that they will live to love another day. And there were kittens, I think.
It just came out for sure.
Yeah, they just came out to give us a little sting. Because you know why? It's like giving you a little sugar so that the medicine of fucking Big Billy Starks can go down next. And Big Billy Starks says that they will fight Sting and Darby. Like, no. Bullshit.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a title match between these guys. Um, I
Boo.
I can't say I don't want to say too much, but like I thought Darby was strong on the mic, so he's gotten a lot better on the mic. So
He is good at
yeah.
doing the talking. Also, I mean, I love Sting, but Grandpa has like 5 things to say and he says them and then it's time for someone else to talk.
Again, acting coach, acting coach, acting coach, acting coach,
Sting ain't
acting
gonna get
coach.
no acting coach at this
too
point in
late,
his life. Sting is
too late.
retiring.
He's just all
No,
I
he's
should.
gonna do the Cher thing. He's gonna do the thing where it's like, what Cher did, where it's like, all right, he's gonna retire, and then 3 years later, all of a sudden, it's like, oop, I'm back just
What
for
if
this
he
show.
Okay, what if there's a Sting residency in Vegas where we all get to go wrestle Sting, you guys?
Dude, I would wrestle Shane. That'd be fun as fuck.
Okay, back.
I would do it. I would do it.
I would.
Um
I would. I like the idea though of Sting being like 65 years old and being like, maybe I should take some improv class.
Yeah, now we're seeing him on like Whose Line Is It Anyway, holding an
Uh,
umbrella like I'm
uh,
Sting.
funny.
It would be awesome. But okay, so our next match, speaking of awesome, we get my favorites, the Acclaimed, and they fight Mogul Embassy, but who cares because the Acclaimed, and also they won because the Acclaimed.
Hell yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a fun match. That was
Fun.
just fun. And there
And
was, listen, the
tables.
chair.
Yes.
Well, the chair first, and then the table throw at the end. Fuck yeah, where he fell on that. Like,
Yes.
but
It was
the
the
chair.
Ass Boys power bombed Prince Nana through the timekeeper's table. If you missed it.
Prince Nana has been taking a lot of bumps here lately, which I'm into.
I love it. He dances, he takes bumps. What else do you need a manager to do?
That's it, pretty much.
Yeah.
I gotta say that I think they were running behind because this match started, and I think there was like 18 minutes left, and there was still this match and the main event because you could tell they ran through this match like pretty quick.
They did. And especially considering some of the spots, I would have thought that they would have taken a little bit more time to maybe build up to the spots. But no, it was just like bam, bam,
It
bam,
was,
which I
yeah, it was just
enjoyed.
like they just hit beat after beat after beat, and then the match was over. But I thought it was fine.
All right. Well, those are
It
our
was
thoughts
good.
on that.
It was fine. It was fine. It was good. There were chairs and tables. We love that.
Always a highlight, if you ask me. So our next match was Adam Copeland, Minoru Suzuki.
Oh yeah,
Adam Copeland won, but I thought Suzuki kicked his own ass.
yeah. I mean, I never in a million years would have thought I would have seen Suzuki versus Adam Copeland wrestle ever. So in a way, this was like kind of like a huge match for me as a fan of New Japan. But also, this was actually pretty good, pretty hard hitting. They didn't seem like they had too much chemistry in the ring, but it was good. And I love Copeland. You know, Copeland gets the win and then kind of tries to shake his hand, and then Suzuki's like, "Nope." And then Copeland's like, "Yeah, you wouldn't have liked it if you would have shook my hand anyway." So I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. The rejection followed by like, I didn't want to shake your hand anyway.
Oh, like,
But
get out of here, cooties.
I mean, but Copeland is great, but I feel like Suzuki was kind of wrestling around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, try not to break his foot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
So,
still fun.
yes.
It was a good. Yeah.
So, should we pick a rating system for this show or should we do a rating system for the whole week?
We could do a show by show. I thought this was solid.
Yeah.
Like maybe we could use Hook and Samoa Joe sexual tension. That's the rating.
Ooh.
Um,
Okay. Sexual tension meter.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give on a scale of 1 to 5 on the sexual tension meter. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I thought it was good, but it didn't blow my fucking brains out.
Johnny, please don't blow your fucking brains out like all the other comedians.
I'm in
Brendan.
a Econo Lodge right now. Anything can happen.
I agree with Johnny. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 as well. It's kind of like a January horror movie that comes out where it's like there's some cool moments. You might watch it again. We'll probably skip over it, but it was fine. If you watch it, it was fine.
It was decent.
Ringing endorsements from the boys. I'm going to give it a solid 3 because I think there was sexual tension. There was a lot of handshakes, a lot of acceptance, a lot of face touching, a lot of rejection. There was a lot of man on man skin touching. So, yeah, like sexual tension. I want more of that in wrestling. Make it gayer. As I've always said, make it gayer.
Make wrestling more gay, and which is weird because grown men in their underwear rolling around with each other is already kind of gay. So, but I'm here for making it gayer.
Make it gayer. So, should we do the awards?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we have the Hero Award for this episode.
Yep, the Dewey Riley Hero of the Week. I'm actually on the Hero of the Week. I'm gonna go with Swerve Strickland. Just because I think he carried Jeff Hardy, and I'm not trying to discount Jeff Hardy, but I think he carried Jeff Hardy to a really good match, and he showed that like what you can do when you are engaged with somebody that might have diminishing skills a little bit. So I don't know.
You sound like you're about to put Jeff Hardy in the old folks' home.
Well, I'm not. But...
He might give it a few weeks. You never know.
I was gonna give it to Swerve, but just because I think he's great.
Girl, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, Johnny, stop taking my ideas. Like, Swerve here. Listen, the great style, the great moves. Like, he's just cool. Like, he could walk out there.
I'm sorry. I have to revise. I give it to Jeff Hardy for not getting a DUI and getting to the arena to wrestle. Now, Brendan, tell us how much you love Swerve.
10 out of 10. He could walk out there, go into the microphone, say, fuck everyone, and it'd be like, great, Hero of the Week.
So you give him CM Punk status in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good walkout.
I approve of that. All right. Who was the Christian Cage Dick Award?
Christian Cage Dick Award. I'm going to go with Minoru Suzuki because he denied fellow legend Adam Copeland of a handshake. What it
Mm.
did.
I could get behind that. Yeah.
Dick.
I mm, I just feel like everybody was kind of good natured. I'm gonna give it to John Moxley. I always give it to the person who's bitching the most. Quit complaining. The internet is for complaining. Quit fucking bitching and tell me you're great. Don't tell me like, oh, it's so hard to be the best. Like fucking stop complaining.
Right. Why was he so mad? Like,
He always is. And half of these wrestlers, when they don't know what to say, they're just like, here is my tough on my luck story. And I'm just like, save it for fucking X or whatever.
save that shit for X. It's so
Yeah.
it's so weird to call it X. Put that on Threads, bro.
Oh my God. It does sound weird. I hate it. So, okay. Did you guys have bigger dicks than that?
That's a loaded question.
Everyone was pretty chill this week.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. No dicks. The men pass on dicks. All right. How about
My
the
dick
Freddy
was the
versus
most
Jason
ridiculous.
showdown or match?
This is I definitely know what it was for Collision, but for this, I'm gonna go with the uh, the opener between Hangman and Penta. I thought that was a really great match, and again, AEW starting hot with a really good match. I really liked it, and I thought Hangman looked great, and Penta's always good. So
Brendan?
I like the acclaimed.
yeah,
Acclaimed.
Acclaimed.
Everybody loves
The
the
opening,
acclaim.
yeah, the opening was good, but I the acclaimed was fun.
I of course have to go Jeff Hardy, Swerve Strickland. It was like the new guy I like and the old guy I like. Hot.
makes sense.
Yeah. So that means now we have to talk about the other various shows, but Dynamite mostly, right? No, wait. We just talked about Dynamite. Shit.
Collision. Let's do Collision.
Collision. I warned you guys I was really high.
I like it. It's bringing an unhinged chaos to the show.
It's fun.
This is what happens when I'm the captain for too long. I just like do too many drugs and I'm like, yeah, kill that man. Now what are we doing?
Kill that
Yeah,
man.
so Collision for January 27th, which again started strong with John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeating Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. And Moxley and Moriarty had like a little brawl outside the stadium. It was fun.
Yeah, I liked it. It was chaotic. I like that Moxley's kind of flirting with Lee Moriarty. I think he wants him. He wants him in the Blackpool Combat Club, but Lee Moriarty's playing hard to get. Um, but yeah, this was really fun, and it was one of those things. Collision was so wrestling heavy, and compared to Dynamite, Dynamite had so many interview segments, and
Yes.
Collision was like packed a ton of matches in. So that was pretty cool.
I agree with that. And I like that. I like Moxley and Claudio together. I think that Moxley kind of does the same move set and Claudio always does the same move set and they're both good at it, but you have to mix it up a little bit.
I agree, and I would say we have to say fuck Claudio.
Oh, yes. For
We
Darcy.
do.
Fuck Claudio.
In her honor.
Telepathically, she's telling us right now from the cruise ship.
Fuck Claudio.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've received the message as well. Fuck Claudio. So that match was pretty quick, all things considered, because you're right. It was full of interview segments. And so immediately we get Roderick Strong and Commander. And then the Kingdom is like, we'll help you beat Orange Cassidy. And I don't know if Commander is clear on what's happening. He kind of just gestures at them. But, you know.
Yeah. He was putting in his
Luchadors-
Google Translate.
Yeah, luchadors are mysterious, though. You don't know. But then immediately in the match, Orange Cassidy defeated Commander. And you guys know, I think Orange Cassidy is lame, and you know I love luchadors, so what the fuck?
Yeah, this was not my favorite Orange Cassidy match. I thought they were. I did not think they had good chemistry in the ring. It seemed
Because Commander is so much better than Orange Cassidy?
I mean, some could say, but like, it just seemed like they weren't getting on properly. Everything seemed a little disjointed, but it had its moments.
It's hard to wrestle with your hands in your goddamn pockets.
Very-
Brendan, what did you think?
It was fine.
Oh my God.
Fine.
Take a shot every time you say
I'm
it was
dead.
fine.
I'm
It
dead.
was, how about this? Wait, actually, I have espresso bean chocolates.
There you
Be
go.
right back.
Delicious.
I recommend you take shots every time you want to say it was fine. So, immediately after Orange Cassidy wins, we get cameras backstage, and Daniel Garcia is like dead, and Daddy
He
Magic
dies.
is like screaming for help. It's like a movie.
R.I.P. Daniel Garcia.
Like,
Yeah, he's a mess.
yeah, it was. I don't know. It was ominous and not in the right way.
Yeah, it was weird, and it was very sudden.
Yeah, like a death in the family. It was very sudden to
It
see a
was.
dead Daniel Garcia. Yeah.
Don't answer that phone at noon. It's never good
No,
news.
last time I saw him, he was sexy dancing, and now he's like dead. But did Daddy Magic do it? Did Daddy Magic beat the shit out of him and then, like a hate crime, like call for help?
It's jealousy.
He
Some
can't
jealousy.
dance. Magic
Daddy
can't dance.
jealous.
So then we get a women's match, Mariah May and Lady Frost. Even though Lady Frost was honestly better dressed, Mariah May did win.
Yeah.
I do love the names. Like,
The crowd was behind
Lady
Lady
Frost
Frost.
is like,
They did. They were.
is
They were.
it she?
That was that was funny because I don't think they meant for like Lady Frost to be the baby face necessarily, and they were hella behind Lady Frost.
Here's an interesting question for you, Johnny. I think that faces and heels are subjective, but other members of the audience and the wrestling community, seem to feel that it's not objective or subjective. So, how do you determine who the baby face is in a match?
Well, obviously, when like people go in, like the writers, whoever's planning all this shit, they have in their head like, okay, we're gonna push this person as a baby face, and then we're gonna push this person as a heel. But sometimes the crowd will hijack the idea. I mean, they did it with Stone Cold Steve Austin in the late '90s, where he was a heel, like an ass kicking heel, and but the crowd was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, we love this ass kicking heel," and then he became the hugest baby face possibly in the history of wrestling. So uh, the crowd has so much to do with it, and they were in this match. They were like, "No, we like Lady Frost." So and
So does
what
the crowd decide who the face is then? If
I
I
think
make the
ultimately
crowd chant loud enough, can we just change who the heels are? Because people are always like, oh, that person's a heel. And I'm like, no, that person is a face. The $1 million man is a face.
I love that you use that example. Like the $1 million man Ted DiBiase being a babyface. That in that case, that is subjective for sure. But you know, I like in a match like that when it's not supposed to go like that. When the babyface starts doing heel shit, and then the heel starts doing babyface shit because they're just adapting to the crowd reaction, which I think is pretty fucking awesome. So. I think the crowd has a lot to do with it. I think best laid plans could get derailed by the crowd, you know.
Sure, they Afghan ugly. But I totally thought Lady Frost was the face. So
Right.
I was sad that she was defeated by the other boring looking woman.
Dang. The shade. The shade. I
My
like
name
my
is Mistress Harley, and I'm here for shade. I'm not here to make friends.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's
Deanna
a
Bravo.
reality show, y'all.
That's right. So after the women's match, we get like a Swerve promo, and he's like, the dealer's choice gimmick for next week. What's going to happen? And then a Hangman responds after the commercial. And it's like, again, these people could just text each other, but instead they have to like do this complicated communication through the TV show.
It's wrestling. Man, the internet, you think the internet would have affected how they're talking to each other on these shows, but it's not.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Because
But
it's
then
only real if it's like there.
Yeah.
you're right.
Text
It has
messaging, yeah. Text
it
doesn't
has to
count.
be on stage.
Yeah. Because it could be AI on the phone.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But it's just a funny format to watch as an audience member. Like, this is how you grown ass men are communicating with each other's, like via clips on a TV show and not like directly, like, hey, should we fight at this thing? But the next match were two men who almost look identical if like if you close your eyes just enough. Eddie Kingston and Willie Mack. Eddie Kingston won, but I swear they're like shaped the same. Like they have to go the same tailor, or maybe they trade gear, ring gear.
Yeah. They both like to eat.
I
They got
think
hard appetites.
women would call this a pear-shaped, apple-shaped men.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pear-shaped for sure.
Yeah.
The battle of pear-shaped men, in which Eddie Kingston defeats all with exploder suplexes.
Yep. Yep. Kind of a throwaway match in my opinion. But the big angle was, Bryan Danielson kind of interrupting the celebration, which is
Yes.
definitely getting them heated up for the Danielson Kingston rivalry, which we're about to witness, I think.
Right, and Kingston even joined the commentary for Danielson's match, right?
Yeah, he did. And he was like, man, I could lose everything because I'm going to attack him right now. I was like, all right, Eddie, go. He's
Yeah,
so
Eddie
rich.
is that kid in school that's like, I could take all the guys on the football team, he says to you in the bleachers.
Right, completely.
He's the one that he stayed in the hometown. Will remind you 20 years after graduating that he could have taken them. He just didn't.
So, permanent townie Eddie Kingston. All right. So yeah, Bryan Danielson won that match against Nagata, and then they did shake hands, and there was a little sexual tension because I feel like the handshake was like directed at Kingston, like, look at what I do with the other boys.
Yeah, he was like, aren't you jealous? I respect him. I
Yeah.
don't have any respect for you.
This is what respect looks like.
Yuji Nagata is 55 years old. Dude,
No way.
this match was sick, dude. I fucking loved this match. I thought it was awesome. And the fact that Yuji Nagata is so old doing this shit is crazy.
You know, I didn't realize that because I kind of thought it was a good standard match. But now realizing that our competitors are aged elderlies, I mean, Danielson too, he's a dad. Like, okay, all right, I've lowered the bar and now the match was better.
Yeah, he's in his 40s, but man, Yuji at 55, and he was taking stiff shit.
Still, you don't see a lot of other professional athletes in their 40s either. Like, watch the Olympics.
Right.
So then we get like a promo where FTR says Daniel Garcia maybe can't make it to the cage, which fuck you, show up for the cage, but we know why. And so Crazy Eyes, Mark Briscoe is like, I will go into the cage. He would probably wrestle alligator if you let him. Like, hey, Mark Briscoe, I got an alligator problem. Yeah, and then I don't know. Brian Cage talks trash about Hook. Hook interrupts and says, "Yeah, I come for the FTW title." It was just like a lot, like a machine gun of promos. Serena Deeb, and then she had a match where she defeated Robin Renegade.
Yeah.
It was a squash match, though.
Yeah, it was. But I really liked her post-match promo. Serena Deeb is somebody that I haven't connected with a lot, and I've been aware of her for 20 years now, but this might be the best like actual character work she's done with this post-match promo. Pretty good shit. The match, of course, was kind of blah, but it was. I'm excited. I think they're going to give Serena Deeb a little bit of a push here, which I think is cool if they can let her like really work in her character.
Yeah, but if you're gonna give her push, you got to give me more than a squash match. Like, show me why this person is so good. Show me why they're all elite. Throw their body off the second story of the stadium. I don't know. Give me something that's like, oh yeah, that's why that person is fucking great. As a
Right.
newbie
Has that
to.
ever happened before? Have they ever done like a stunt like that where they've thrown someone off a stadium, or is that still?
Jeff Hardy used to do that shit all the time. New Jack used to do that shit all the
Oh,
time. I'm
Yeah,
gonna show you some New Jack DVDs, Brendan.
yeah, Brennan,
please.
you should go on YouTube and just put New Jack Vic Grimes table
Ah!
spot.
Okay.
It is one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in a professional wrestling match.
Also, Brendan, New Jack killed a guy in wrestling and then in court was like, he asked me to stab him and was acquitted.
New Jack's dead now.
Oh.
R.I.P. New Jack.
R.I.P. New Jack. Thank you for taking all of those concussions right to the head for our entertainment. But speaking of concussions right to the head, we get FTR and Daniel Garcia with they defeated the House of Black in the Escape the Cage, and there was so many shenanigans. Like, where do I begin with shenanigans?
Dude, this
Like,
was crazy.
yes, it was crazy.
Dude, they did everything in this match.
Dax got a steel chair right to the dome, so thanks for that concussion, Dax Hardwood.
Hardwood. Missed
um,
him. Julia Hart missed it. Daniel Garcia. It was wild. There was so much shit going on.
I mean, yeah, there were spears, there were curb stomps, there were escapes. There was a point where Malachi could have got out of the ring, and he didn't. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm going back." Which this was an escape the cage match, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, a pile driver onto like this fucking steel chair. Like, it was very satisfying if you are a fan of violence.
Yeah, and I love the crowd was getting so into FTR, which I fucking loved because I'm a huge FTR mark, so I was into it.
I have to say, I usually like House of Black, but I found myself rooting for FTR in this one just because they were the ones like having the most amounts of ridiculous violence.
Yeah, they're fucking they're just so good in my opinion. I fucking love FTR.
Brendan, did you see this cornucopia and ballet of violence that occurred in this cage?
I was filming for this one. I did miss it, but
You missed
Go
the
back
I
and
cage
watch.
match.
I do want to watch this because the amount of violence in this sounds like something that
You would
I
love
am not happy that I missed it.
You would love it. Go back and watch. It's fun.
There is human
It sounds
suffering.
amazing.
Yes, and it is a delight.
I still remember that, like, watching, I think it was Ruby Soho getting stomped in like a trash can, like right in front of Diana and I was it's different in person, like on, watching it at home, you're like, oh, this is fun. And then you see it in front of you and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you can't phone scroll and film a movie when you're sitting in the arena. So, okay, so should we rate this one in cages?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's cage it.
So, out of 5 cages, what do you guys rate this episode?
I'm gonna give it 4.25 cages. Based on the fact that I thought the main event was amazing, and I really liked the Nagata versus Danielson match.
I will give it a 4 out of 5 cages because, again, the main event, a cage, always, violence, always. But I felt like the women got the short shaft. They could have given me a much better women's match.
I agree. They should have gave us some time. I think, but
Yes, I'm not talking about the wrestlers. I'm talking about time.
yeah, I agree.
Brendan?
I don't know if it's fair for me to vote, but I would say, from what it sounds like, especially with cage match, the last one that I remember watching was phenomenal. So I would probably say I'd probably give it a 3.5 or a 4. It just, cage matches are something else. They're something else.
This is America. You're allowed to vote even if you know zero about the issues.
Oh, by the way, the Ghost gave Dynamite 4. and the ghost is now telling me they gave Collision a 4.5.
Oh,
And
okay. All
also,
right.
the ghost thought the crowd was very disappointing for Dynamite.
I have seen people talk about that on the internet. Like, why was the crowd so quiet? And yeah, it wasn't like a respectful Japanese crowd. It was like a we don't know what we are doing here crowd.
They were lamos. Or everybody was looking at their phones, watching the horrific allegations against Vince McMahon the whole time.
Oh, and we'll
So
talk about those horrific allegations.
that could be
Uh,
it.
but first, okay, awards, right? Hero, I give it to Mark Briscoe. Crazy Eyes did not have to be involved, but he was like, I want to be involved.
Yeah, I like that he gave it a valiant effort where he was like, "No, I'm in this match," and then he just got fucking yeeted into the sun.
Yeah,
Um,
he's like the R-Truth of AEW.
yeah, I can get behind that. I can go Mark Briscoe as the hero on this week. He gave it a valiant effort. It was the hero's journey.
Brendan?
I'll go with Mark Briscoe as well. I don't think he's ever won the Hero of the Week, to be quite honest. Like,
Yeah, just as an homage, we can give it to Mark Briscoe. He needs one. He needs one.
Well, and he's so nuts. Like, he is the guy at the bar I would see and immediately leave the bar.
Completely. You're like, I ain't trying to fuck with this riffraff right now.
No, I buy the character and I like that. So,
Yeah.
what about the Christian Cage Dick Award for this episode? Is anybody a dick? Was there spitting? Was there biting?
There wasn't too many like obvious dicks of the week, but I'm gonna say here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say as far as dick of the week goes, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Daddy Magic for me because I think he's behind this Daniel Garcia assault.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not seem like a dick, but I think he's a secret dick.
Daddy Magic does not like sexy dancing.
You know.
I could see that. I could see that.
I want to give it to Eddie Kingston because of how kind of like high school basic he is. Like everything he says is like shit a 15-year-old boy would say.
I threw a fucking football 80 yards one time.
Exactly. What about do we even need to say what the Freddy versus Jason showdown of the week? Like the cage.
Main event for sure. Really good.
Cage one.
Okay, what about the Ric Flair Fashion Award?
Ric Flair fashion. I thought Mariah May looked great. Thought she had a great outfit on, and I thought Lady Frost. I'm gonna give it a co
Oh,
fashion. They both were dripping out
think
as far as I was
the
concerned.
Lady Frost looked a little cuter
Yeah, Lady
from
Frost
what I
put
saw on the
the
Twitter.
gimmick effort in, and so like, thank you. Somebody is paying attention to themes, like people, like a theme. Your shoes and your bag should match, and if your name is Lady Frost, you should look like that shit. And it just makes me crazy when people have a gimmick and don't do the gimmick. And so, no shade to Mariah May. I just thought Lady Frost tried harder.
I thought they both looked great.
Yeah. So, shall we talk about the Vince McMahon garbage? The
Yeah.
people want it. We need it.
Let's
Yeah.
move over to Hot Topics.
Uh,
Well, there's no walking and there's no music. So here we are at Hot Topics. All right, what's the tea?
Lawsuit against Vince McMahon saying not only is he a bad man who does bad things to women, but also sex trafficking. Also, my favorite part was that the woman who's filed lawsuit, she signed an NDA and agreed to a hush payment from Vince McMahon, and he did not pay her. He only paid her $1 million, and then he stopped paying.
He paid her up front, and then was like, "This will probably be enough."
Nope.
Like, you forgot the fucking terms of your non-disclosure agreement, dumb.
Yeah,
And,
you signed a piece of paper that says this is null and void if you do not give me my money. And as a professional blackmail dominatrix, that's right, men give me information to use against them to extort money out of them. Like, what kind of dumb fucking shit did you think was going to happen? Now the NDA is just evidence of a crime.
Right. And he's utterly fucked, and I hope he gets every fucking thing that's coming to him. The guy's complete fucking swine. And he shit on her head.
Allegedly,
Allegedly. He allegedly
according to the
shit
complaints.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me legally not slanderous. But yeah, it's a complete fucking nightmare. If you read through the whole thing, like
It's crazy.
you're not gagging at like multiple points, then you don't have a soul. Like fuck that guy forever. I hope he never shows his fucking face ever again. I hope he goes to jail and he dies there.
I mean, I feel like how can anyone be surprised at this? I'm not even going to get into like the politics of the people who become president, but the idea like this guy used to literally have matches in the WWE in which if he won, the other person had to kiss his naked ass as
Yeah.
part of the story of the wrestling. Brendan, go on YouTube and look for Vince McMahon ass kissing matches. Like, this is a guy who filmed himself at work making his subordinates do inappropriate sexual acts. This is a man who let the people and the commentators scream for titties. Puppies, puppies, puppies. Like, who's fucking surprised?
No, nobody should be. And also the fact that like there's that old trope where it's like, oh, he really lives the gimmick. Well,
Ah,
this McMahon was fucking living the gimmick. Like he portrayed himself as a perverted piece of shit, a terrible boss, and the whole time that's what he was. Like it was the reality of the situation. And
inspired by real life, right?
yeah, man, fuck that guy forever.
And so I am pre-basing my judgment on the allegations. I believe, without any shred of actual evidence, that I know Vince McMahon's fucking guilty piece of garbage. And I hope his company gets taken away from him and run by his daughters and granddaughters and becomes a super feminist organization.
Right. And boy, did they ever fucking they had the post Royal Rumble scrum, and
Yes.
boy, did they dip and dive any questions about that.
Yeah,
I gotta give Cody Rhodes credit. At least he addressed it.
that's true. He did in the press conference address it. And like, what a time for Andrade El Idolo to defect over to the WWE.
A mess, complete mess. But yeah, not surprising, but also still horrifying to like read in detail all this shit.
Yeah, I just hope, as a woman, I hope that the woman who filed suit takes him for all he's worth. I just want to see every bad
Absolutely.
man bankrupted by his bad choices.
Completely.
Yes. Any other trash we want to talk about the gossip rumor mills of wrestling?
Man, I think that's the most
I'm
pressing
still
one.
hoping and dreaming for a day where there could be a Super Bowl type thing where AEW and WWE come together for one night and one night only.
Uh,
And I'll just keep
that's
putting that out there because it's a dream. One day it'll happen.
Brendan, you want peace, and the rest of us want
Oh
war.
no,
Wrestling
no
is
chaos.
war. One of these
You know it's
companies
going to be
is going to end
chaos.
up owning the other company. And okay, I want to say that all of these allegations, all of this timing, there's a lot of mud being slung around. And why is it all being slung around right now, I wonder, with the WWE Netflix Raw acquisition? With allegations, maybe unfounded allegations being thrown at some wrestlers. It's like there's a lot of mud in the air, and maybe it's to distract. Maybe it's part of the war. Like, do you guys have thoughts?
I mean, I think it could be just because the timing of this shit is kind of crazy. I
It's a
know
little
that
too coincidental.
AEW had their fucking dust up right before the pay per view.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
this is literally 2 days before arguably the second biggest event of the year for WWE with the Royal
Uh
Rumble. So
huh.
it's yeah, the timing seems weird, and but here's the thing, man. This shit with Vince is so different than the shit with AEW. Like, there's numerous fucking paper trail on this shit. You know?
Oh, absolutely. There's receipts. I'm more just
Yeah.
talking about the fact that these things are surfacing all at the same
Sure.
time. It feels like a lot of behind the scenes business jockeying,
Yeah.
maneuvering that maybe we don't know about. Like, hypothetically, if I'm Tony Khan, maybe I know Vince McMahon is a bad man who's done bad things. And maybe I know that he is smearing some of my wrestlers without any reason to do so.
Evidence. Yeah.
And maybe I dig up someone and I go, hey, did Vince not pay you all the money he owed you? You know what
Right.
I would do?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to give you legal advice, but if he was late on a payment, that violates your non-disclosure agreement. So
That's
I don't
right.
know. I mean,
Like, I don't know if you guys know the story about how Gawker Media was brought down via the Hulk
yeah,
Hogan lawsuit, but
yeah,
that lawsuit was also funded by other people who were mad at Gawker Media.
yeah.
And so I wonder how much of this back and forth shit, true or not true, is kind of the same shit. But I'm speculating. I don't know nothing. I just
We
think
don't
it's
know
a
anything.
lot of weird shit all at the same time.
Yeah, let the record state we know nothing.
Yes,
Like
the record
this is
clear. I know absolutely nothing. It's all
we're
speculation.
editorializing.
But isn't it fun to speculate about reality TV?
It is.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, do you guys have anything you want to promote this week?
Brendan, what you got?
I have 2 movies in post now, so give me a month and one will be out, and then one is out in March, one is out in April.
Right on. Sounds good. I will be at the Velveeta Room, headlining 3 shows in Austin, Texas, February 2nd and 3rd. So come out, Austin. It'll be fun.
I am always Mistress Harley. I'm the author of the scam book for guys who love to lose. It's an instant scam. You can find me everywhere. I'm all over the internet and I live in your darkest dreams. So, shall we say namaste AEW?
Let's say
Namaste, AEW.